Have you ever asked a question in English and just felt that little moment of doubt? You know, that feeling like, did that come out right? Trust me, you are not alone. So today, we're going to build the perfect English question step by step so you can sound clear, confident, and totally natural. Let's jump right in. Okay, take a look at this one. Why you are late. This is probably one of the most common mistakes out there. And look, people will get what you mean, but it's one of those little things that flags you as a learner. The great news? The fix is incredibly simple once you see the pattern. And that is exactly what we're going to do. In the next couple of minutes, I'm going to give you a simple, really powerful toolkit for getting your questions right every single time. Think of it as your master key for unlocking natural, everyday English. So let's start with the absolute foundation. You can forget about trying to memorize a ton of complicated grammar rules. The truth is, almost every question you're ever going to ask in English follows one simple 4-part recipe. Let's break that down. Here they are, the 4 essential ingredients. You've got your WH word, then a helper verb, then the subject, and finally the main verb. Just burn this into your brain. WH word, helper, subject, verb. Once you get that order down, you are literally 80% of the way there. It is that powerful. All right, let's zoom in on step 2, that helper verb. These are the little engine words that really make a question go. They basically fall into 4 main groups. We use be, is, are, was, for things like identity or location. We use do for most general actions. We use have when we're talking about experiences. And then we've got modals, like can or will, for possibility in the future. Getting the right helper is half the battle. Okay, so you've got the main recipe down. Awesome. Now it's time for the chef's secret. This is the one major exception that will make you sound so much more fluent. A lot of people get tripped up on this, but once you see it, it's actually super simple. This right here shows the difference perfectly. So on the left, you see the object question. Who did you call? That follows our recipe exactly. The answer may be, I called Maria. Maria is the object of the action. But now look at the right side, the subject question. Who called you? See that? The helper verb did is gone. Why? Because the answer we're looking for, Maria, is the subject. She's the one doing the calling. So here's the rule, plain and simple. If your question word, like who or what, is asking about the one doing the action, you just drop the helper verbs, do, does, or did. It's that easy. You just say, who called, or what happened. It's cleaner, it's simpler, and it sounds perfect. All right, we have got the grammar locked in. Now let's add that final layer of polish. This next part is all about sounding not just grammatically correct, but also polite and, well, like you actually live here. Now, this question is 100% correct. Where is the station? Nothing wrong with it grammatically. But if you walk up to a total stranger in the US and just say that, it can sound a little blunt, a little too direct, We can easily soften that. And here's how we do it. Could you tell me where the station is? Did you see what happened there? It was like a little magic trick. The verb is jumped to the end. Just by wrapping our question in a polite little phrase, the whole word order changes. This is the big rule for what we call indirect questions. Anytime you start with a polite opener like, could you tell me, or do you know, the question part that follows switches back to normal statement order. So it's where the station is, not where is the station. It's a tiny change that makes a huge difference in how friendly you sound. And here is another fantastic tip for sounding natural. I bet at some point you learned a rule that said never end a sentence with a preposition, right? Well, in conversational American English, you can totally forget that rule. It is completely normal and natural to ask, who are you going with? Or what are you looking for? Honestly, this is how real people talk every day. Okay, let's just crush one more super common mistake while we're at it. When did you went? I hear this all the time, but think about it. The helper verb did is already doing the work of showing the past tense. So the main verb that comes after it gets to just relax in its simple base form. The fix is always, always, when did you go? And finally, let's talk culture for a second, because asking good questions isn't just about grammar. It's about being respectful. So in the US, you'll probably want to steer clear of really personal questions about salary or marital status, especially with people you don't know well. Like we saw, starting with, could you tell me, is always a safe and polite bet. And again, don't ever be afraid to ask something like, which team are you rooting for? Ending with for is perfectly fine. Okay, we've gone over a lot, so to pull this all together, I made a super simple checklist you can just run through in your head right before you ask something. Think of it as your final quality check.
It's just 4 quick checks. Number 1, did I pick the right WH word? 2, is my helper verb the right one for the job? 3, hang on, is this a subject question where I don't need do? And 4, the final polish. Am I being polite enough right now? If you can check those 4 boxes, you are going to ask a perfect question.
So there you have it. You've got the recipe, you know the chef's secrets, and you've got the final checklist. The only thing left to do is go out there and actually start asking. So what's the first perfect question you're going to ask?